Because the girls are lazy, the majority don't actually come for the meals. Have their money to choose where to get their money.
Right there, the Minister of Education and Sports, Janet Kataha Museveni, and other officials looking at the different halls of residence. Now, moving on, it's been a long day with regional youth elections happening across the nation in the West, East, South, and North and Central region. Now, many of the youth thronged National Teachers College Mubende to exercise their civic right for the Central Youth election. The security was heavily deployed in and out of the college to make sure law and order is maintained, and we do have the details in this report.
Firstly, they have stopped many of our people from entering with our material, t-shirts, caps. But if you may look on the line, you will see many of the people with Chirabo's material.
No, not only me, so many guys behind, they have actually been denied chance. They have gone back to change and come back to vote. I've actually given my slip to somebody else so that he can see if he can try to hesitate.
It is the 1st of February 2020, and this is the day that the Electoral Commission allocated for the youth regional elections in different parts of Uganda. Now we have the regional ones in Central, in the North, East, South, and the West. One thing, right now we are at National Teachers College Mubende, as you can see, for the Central Youth Member of Parliament elections. There are about 8 candidates that are contesting for this spot, including Chirabo Agnes for NRM, Simon Senyonga as independent, Ivan Bowe as an independent, Mike Katongole as an independent, Joey from FDC, and so many others on the ballot paper. Right now you see that there's so many people in this area. It is about 1,155 delegates from about 26 districts that are supposed to participate in this election. There's so many posters, many that have been torn, many that have been defaced. One of the things that actually happened is also that one of the contestants, who is known by, who is called Ivan Bowe, wasn't happy with what the EC was doing yesterday, because they were supposed to give people more money. According to him,
some of our members have been kidnapped. Yes, and actually we ran a ground campaign of actually hiding some completely out of sight.
We haven't, as per now. So if it is true there is someone missing, let them come up, because we always work on information. So we haven't got that information as per now.
All these contestants, 8 of them, are still very happy, and they anticipate.
And should they try to rig our victory, we shall take them to courts of law.
They are actually humbled for the support our delegates have shown us. So far we expect so good, because as per the feelers we are getting from the voters that have finished voting, we expect total and maximum victory.
Now, one of the things as well that you will notice is that social distancing of the risk, or following the guidelines to fight COVID-19, like washing your hands, making sure that you socially distance from people, is something that everyone here has literally forgotten. School, the whole teachers' college was actually cordoned off by security. Many of them are from the police and are guarding every sport. They can't allow anyone to cause commotion.
If security was not here, perhaps things would have gone either way. So as part of the planning process, when you have an electoral college of people like this, why not? It's good to plan for the worst.
We also have traffic officers that have been helping with the numbers of students that are being ferried in different buses, like you will see, to make sure that they participate in this election. We had an interview with one of the electorates that participated in this election, and well, he had so much to say, also including that he doesn't think it was well organized, or it really started on time.
Right from the gates, the process was okay, the security is tight. But again, the Electoral Commission actually made some delayings, because you find that we spent almost an hour in the line clearing with the Electoral Commission.
In this case, we were waiting for the first 10, or probably more, delegates to arrive so they can witness the opening of the polling station. We were here by 7, but none of the delegates had arrived to witness the opening.
From Judiciary UBC TV, and we'll make sure that we keep you updated on what transpires, even the results, to make sure that you know who the Central Youth Member of Parliament is going to be in a few hours from now.
Thank you so much, Sharon, for that report. Now, the Chief of Defense Forces, General David Muhoozi, has assured Ugandans that nobody will destabilize their peace in the post-election era. General Muhoozi spoke to UBC TV for the first time since the presidential elections on UPDF's preparedness to mark 40 years since its existence. Now, the Tarehe City celebrations due on Saturday this month will be graced by the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
At Rowamboya Military Barracks in Kampala is a national military referral hospital constructed by the Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs. The state-of-the-art facility, raised by the Uganda People's Defense Forces Engineering Brigade at a cost of 100 billion shillings, will be handling outpatients and inpatient services. It also has a female, male and children's ward, a laboratory and theatre facility, among others. Speaking to UBC TV, Chief of Defense Forces General David Muhoozi noted that the construction of the facility is part of their efforts to save billions of shillings spent on armed officers for specialized treatment abroad. To
domesticate that capacity, but also to make it cheaper, because one of our biggest bills now is especially referrals abroad, and you can't take everyone abroad. So we wanted to domesticate that capacity and to reduce the cost.
It will also be open to the public.
It's available for other people other than the military, including, like you said, the leaders of the country. So rather than go outside, we will have a facility that can cater for most of these illnesses.
The hospital is said to be commissioned by General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni on February 6, 2021, as Uganda People's Defense Forces commemorates their 40th Tarehe City anniversary. Virtual celebrations will be held at UPDF headquarters in Mbuya.
It will be preceded by the commissioning of a national military referral hospital by the President. And then we'll go to the top of the hill to have the President and Commander-in-Chief address the country. The guest list, unfortunately, it's short for obvious reasons, but from Mbuya he will speak to the country, including Greater Masaka.
The Uganda People's Defense Forces has since January carried out several civil military activities in different parts of the country, especially Masaka, where this year's celebrations were to be held.
Apart from its geographical location, Masaka was also key in the fight against Idi Amin. You know, it was one of the axes of advance for the liberation forces, the UNLA, in particular Chikosi Maalum, because there are many groups, but including that one. And it took a big hit. Masaka took a big hit in that phase of the struggle, but also in later years, during the NRA struggle, Masaka was also host to many decisive battles, including the famous siege on Masaka Barracks, Jagira, including later the Battle of Katonga, which redefined the war and what followed the fall of Kampala.
General Muhoozi called upon Ugandans to avoid negative social media sentiments coming up in this post-election period, but concentrate on their normal business.
I heard they were calling upon the citizens to shut the borders, to places of worship not open, that whoever would defy would become a victim, and they went into details of how to enforce that irregular message. But I want to tell Ugandans that it's an empty threat. Go about your business, nothing will happen to you. The security forces will protect you and your property. Ignore that message. It's empty, it's contemptible.
To the Uganda People's Defense Forces commander, the country has successfully managed to pass through an election period with no major incidents reported, and the country will continue to be secure.
I also want to thank the security forces who did their work, still do, to ensure that our country remains peaceful during that time and up to now.
Benatiga, UBC News.
Now, security forces are aware of social media bloggers operating outside Uganda to incite the public to protest the outcome of the election. This follows a video that has caught security attention, the security eye, to ban and disrupt business in Kampala. Major General Paul Lokech does not take such messages lightly, and he does assure Ugandans of safety as they conduct their day-to-day accomplishments. Our reporter Ivan Kahwa has filed this detail.
Ugandans have been urged to go on with their businesses normally and ignore a cross-section of people concocting insightful statements which intend to promote panic and fear. A joint security task team headed by Deputy Inspector General of Police, Major General Paul Lokech, is tracking individuals persuading Ugandans to cause anarchy.
That we have a very robust force, a very agile team, we are a very resilient force, that our resolves cannot be easily unshaken.
Social media messages are still finding their way on internet in both video and audio forms, preaching messages of discontent about the just concluded elections.
They are being circulated from outside the country. Of course, we shall also get in touch with the host nations through our diplomatic channels and see how to deal with such people.
Lokech advises those disputing the presidential results to seek remedy in the courts of law other than trying to use a detrimental path.
People who think they can cause chaos or lawlessness to the state are making the biggest mistake. I know no country is immune to lawlessness, and we are prepared for this challenge.
In another development, a taxi registration number UAW 775F rammed into a roadside clock along Nile Avenue roundabout. This happened Monday morning at around 8 a.m. The vehicle got damaged at the front. On eyewitness account, the taxi had only 2 people aboard. The driver and conductor sustained minor injuries and were rushed to hospital. The taxi failed to brake, hence the accident. Police later came and towed away the taxi. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News in Kampala.
Now, the Judiciary has announced guidelines to be followed during the hearing of election petitions. The guidelines fall on the heels of an election petition filed by the National Unity Platform contesting the outcome of the just concluded presidential polls, despite several considerations from other political parties to toe the same line. Now, this comes at a time when elections are almost ending.
Uganda has the structures and procedures in place to enable election petitions to allow for redress when election malpractice has occurred, but this often occurs in the High Court and the Supreme Court. By briefly examining the 2001 and 2006 presidential and parliamentary election petitions, the Supreme Court, which hears presidential election petitions, has on several occasions acknowledged voting irregularities, yet always unwilling to rule against the incumbent. As the election period comes to an end, the judiciary has come up with guidelines to regulate the big numbers likely to attend hearing of electoral petitions. Those attending court proceedings will be parties concerned in the petitions, lawyers, witnesses and journalists.
Depending on the numbers of petitions that will come up, all judges are on standby to be deployed to handle these petitions.
Karimani notes that journalists covering the presidential petitions at the Supreme Court will be cleared by the Chief Registrar for access. Some court proceedings will be conducted in open space following the Ministry of Health guidelines of reducing the spread of COVID-19 pandemic. The Chief Justice has also directed judges to handle 2 petitions each day. He urges petitioners to follow the law to avoid their petitions being trashed. Meanwhile, celebrations for the New Yellow Day are set for 5th February, and President Yoweri Museveni is expected to grace the function at the High Court grounds in Kampala.
We are hosting the other arms of government. Even the Speaker is going to be there. The Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, they will be in attendance. We are presenting our State of Nation address on our activities. We are giving a report of how the judiciary performed last year.
However, the annual Judges Conference will not take place this year due to the outbreak of COVID-19. Mutonyi Hilda, UBC.
Chagulanyi Robert Sentamu, president of the National Unity Platform, through the NUP legal team led by Counsel Medad Segona, wants the Supreme Court to nullify results of the just concluded presidential elections, saying the entire electoral exercise was marred with irregularities and illegalities. Now, this is one of the major grounds in their electoral petition filed this morning in the Supreme Court before the court registrar Harriet Sally Lukwago.
We do not want the army to participate again. We do not want the RDCs to participate again.
In the recent general elections conducted on 14th January 2021, Justice Simon Byabakama declared President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni as a winner after scoring a 58.38%, putting Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu with 35.8%. Following the alleged illegalities and irregularities by Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu, Monday morning, NUP legal team led by Medad Segona have finally filed an electoral petition at the Supreme Court located in Kololo, Kampala district. In filing this petition before Supreme Court Registrar Harriet Sally Lukwago, NUP lawyers say the presidential elections conducted on 14th January 2021 were not free and fair.
We've asked the court first of all to annul the election and declare or order for a fresh election, to direct that the army and other security operatives that are not police refrain from the electoral process as it is an interference.
According to Counsel Segona, the presidential elections were marred with inflated voter registers, election violence, a process which is against the law.
Immediately after the election, as we were collecting our declaration of results forms from across the country, they were arresting, torturing and beating our coordinators wherever they would find them with DRA forms.
Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu also want court to cancel the recently conducted presidential elections and have a re-election that he believes will be free and fair to the nation. Although most of the electoral petition cases have been dismissed by this court following the one of Amama Mbabazi in 2016, NUP are confident that this time justice will prevail, basing on the grounds in this case.
This is one of the steps and stages in our democratization processes. And I think it is the civil way to go. We've had questions. How do you go to those courts? How do you trust them, etc.? You must let every Ugandan and every Ugandan institution do their work. The voters did their work, they spoke. The Electoral Commission did its work rather imperfectly.
The accused person in this matter include the President-elect Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the Electoral Commission, and the Attorney General of Uganda. According to laws governing Supreme Court, the respondents, after being served, they have only 10 days to file their response, and in this case, court has only 35 days to deliver the verdict. Lydia Chomkama, Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
Well, UBC News at 8 takes a very short break, but we will return with more stories. Don't move an inch.
Double data. Airtel introduces double data, the biggest deal ever on smartphones in Uganda. Buy a smartphone, 3G or 4G, and get 100% data bonus from Airtel. Airtel is giving you 100% bonus data on all weekly and monthly bundles for every new smartphone connected to Airtel for the first 3 months. Dial *175*9# to enjoy double data. Double data, double data. Oh, Airtel, the smartphone network, regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
The day the world stopped was the day we found where to go. From now on, we're not going to leave anything on our plates, because we've learned to savor the moments that were always there, and they never tasted this good.
Connect to the world for free on Ayoba. Chat with friends for free. Play games all day for free. Jam to Ziki for free. You can also send money through Ayoba. Absolutely no MBs needed. To download the app, visit www.mtn.co.ug/mymtn and select Ayoba.
Everywhere you go, MTN. It's better to foster respect instead of fear and pain.
Cause a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
Capital Shoppers. We have a variety of items like foods, garments, cosmetics, and all sorts of drinks. Enjoy your shopping experience at affordable prices in our fully stocked branches in the following areas: Ntinda Station Road, opposite Makere Business School along Port Bell Road, Duster Street opposite Nakasero Market, and Garden City on Yusuf Lule Road. To all our customers and suppliers, we thank you for your continuous support. Stay safe, wash your hands, sanitize, and wear your mask always.
Welcome back from the break, and we're glad that you're still watching UBC News at 8. Now moving on, the General Court-Martial presided over by Lieutenant General Andrew Guti has set the 8th of February 2021 for prosecution to respond to the defense application for granting the 49 NUP supporters bail. Now this followed a prosecution led by Major Emi Echaruhanga requested court for more time to respond to the accused bail application. The 49 accused persons are facing 1 count of unlawful possession of ammunition. However, they all pleaded guilty. They all pleaded not guilty to the alleged offences.
These include Lino Zedrega, Joel Senyonyi, David Lucy Lubungeya, Flavia Kalule, Freddy Nyanzi Saint-Amand Waiswa Bufumbiro. On this, the accused informed the court that it's their constitutional right to be granted bail. Their need for medical attention, among other grounds.
I may say, Your Honor, the same, that the entire group of more than 40 people, Your Honor, before they are presented in this honorable court, on their journey from wherever they were arrested from to here, they were tortured. Most of them need medical attention.
Prosecution led by Major Emyecha Ruhanga requested court for more time to respond to their bail application, which court granted, although this was objected by the defense.
For a short adjournment up to the 8th of February 2021, so that we can make our reply. So we pray, my Lord.
In his response to the plea, Lieutenant General Andrew Guti adjourned the hearing of the case to 8th February 2021. The accused were remanded to Chigani Chitaria government prisons. After court, defense explained to the media the health conditions of the accused persons, and they assure that in the next court session, court will be pleased to grant them bail.
And in our business this evening, the Civil Society Budget Advocacy Group has warned government against its insatiable spending appetite. The caution comes at a time when the domestic revenues are far below target and debt burden approaches a crisis level. The Civil Society Budget Advocacy Group also urges government to prioritize its spending in order to foster economic growth after a slump caused by the COVID-19 pandemic.
The National Budget Framework has estimated that we are going to spend around 34% of our entire budget on the debt payments, interest payments, debt refinancing, amortization, payment of arrears, and pension and the rest.
COVID-19 pandemic has had unprecedented impact on key sectors of Uganda's economy, such as tourism and hospitality, international remittance, and foreign direct investment. This has affected the government's fiscal position, with domestic revenues far below target, while spending needs increasing exponentially.
I would have wanted to see more investments in agriculture strategically, because agriculture has been given 1.5 trillion. Last year it was 1.2 trillion. So, considering the importance agriculture played in helping us to overcome or to be resilient to COVID, because agriculture sector was the only sector that grew, the rest did not grow as expected. We would have wanted to see more resources there, and we are still seeing this business as usual.
CS BAG urges government to give a new lease of life to the micro, small and medium enterprises that have entered the new year amidst a tough business environment. According to Julius Mukunda, the Executive Director at CS BAG, affordable credit will boost business recovery even as the country continues to battle coronavirus.
We have not seen specific measures for small and medium enterprises. Specific in terms of their biggest challenge, for example, is affordable credit, because interest rates are still very high, despite the government of Bank of Uganda intervention. Even threatening banks, the cost of credit is still very high, averaging above 19%. So if you don't address that, you're having a problem.
The 2021-2022 National Budget Framework is in alignment with the National Development Plan 3, which seeks to generate decent jobs, hasten the pace of economic transformation, alleviate poverty, and maintain infrastructure for trade, export, and service delivery. Dennis Igoa for UBC Business.
Well, UBC News at 8 comes to an end, but do join me at 10 o'clock for UBC News tonight. See you then. I'm Laurine Kazimoto.